Welcome to the RealTea podcast, brought to you by Tennessee Realtors and sponsored by Rule First, helping you live closer to what matters. I'm your host, Angela Shields. This podcast is created for Tennessee Realtors to get the tea on all things real estate in Tennessee. We'll bring you engaging conversations with esteemed guests in the real estate industry and cover a wide array of topics, including current events, governmental affairs, education, and legal updates. Today we have a very special treat. We have Jarrod Grasso, who is the Senior Vice President of Industry Relations at NAR, has come all the way from Chicago to join us here in Knoxville, Tennessee, because we're here at TNsights. So let me say welcome to you.
Well, thank you, Angela. It's a pleasure being here. I'm excited for our conversation today.
I am too. Before we kick off, we have a tradition with this podcast. I didn't give you any warning.
Okay.
We are called the RealTea podcast. And what we do is we ask every guest, what do you take in your teacup?
In my teacup? That's an interesting question. Well, I'm at night, if I'm doing a sleepy time tea, I'm just a little bit of honey in there. That's about it.
So you do drink tea?
I do, at night, yes. When I'm not on the road and I'm home, my wife and I, some nights we'll get a nice cup of sleepy time tea and we'll put a little honey in it.
Nice. Yes. We have so many people who tell me they don't drink tea. They are all coffee all the way. They don't want any tea.
Listen, I'm somebody who believes that, you have to be open to everything.
That's right.
So I have coffee in the morning and sometimes tea at night.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, there we go. We know something new about you.
Yes.
Well, great. So you made the transition to the National Association of Realtors. How many months ago?
Oh, boy, it was back in March. So was that about 5 months ago? I could say that it's been a very rewarding experience for me. I'm not saying that just because I'm being recorded. I really, truly believe in what I signed up for. And I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more about it. But it's been really fun. It's been exciting, and it's a lot of good conversations that are happening across the country.
And I can say I've known you now for many years. As we've both worked in this industry for quite some time, I feel like we've both grown up in it from one side to the other. But, and I've always found you to be a phenomenal CEO and done just such a great job. So I'm excited to see you in this role. I think you're going to bring so much to the role itself. My question is, since joining the National Association of Realtors, what have you found to be the most eye-opening in your experience?
And I think that, so Nakia Wright, my boss, and I have had these conversations, and I think the most eye-opening was the silos that were built within the organization, and that different departments didn't really communicate with each other, and the departments had no continuity or context of what the other department was doing, and what we're doing now is we're taking down those silos. Mm-hmm. We're taking down the walls. We're creating a network of communication inside that hasn't been seen in years at the National Association, so that the departments are talking to one another, and we're sharing resources with one another, and making sure that the members see the real value of the organization. So it's a different world inside. And I like I said, I've only been there since March of this year, and I could already see a change.
I think so many times with a long-standing company, you just get used to doing things the same old way, and you don't even see that that's happening.
Yeah, I think that, and I'm not criticizing past CEOs of the organization,
sure,
but I'm just going to say that I think that there was a sense of cruise control, mm-hmm. And that, the departments were doing their jobs individually, mm-hmm. but they weren't talking to one another. So without talking to one another, you're losing that continuity and connectivity.
And efficiency.
Yes. Thank you. That's a great word, efficiency. So I think now that Nakia's at the helm and she's kind of challenged us, and we're going to talk about like the whole new team that we have. I mean, my gosh, we have so many new faces in the senior vice president level, including myself, that Nakia's built a whole new team. We have some individual like Shannon McGann. I mean, she's best of the best.
Right.
And we are so fortunate to have Shannon, but she's somebody that's been there for a few years now. Mark Birschbach, another one who's been around for a few years, handling our business relationships and Second Century Ventures. But Lawrence,
Lawrence, yes, he was just here.
He was there today, right? And I'm sad I missed him. But Lawrence, another like part of that foundation of the organization. But what Nakia has done is she's built upon that foundation with some fresh perspectives. We have Elizabeth Rano, who's heading our education department now and events. We've got Bennett Richardson, who is amazing on the comms team, and he brought in his new guy, Rafi, who is our vice president. And I'm telling you, the communications and the initiatives that we're going to be putting forward are second to none.
Wow.
Really, I'm really excited to be part of this new process. And of course, we have our new CFO, Matt, and what he's doing to make sure that we are fiscally sound and responsible. Sharon White, who is our new HR, head of HR for the National Association of Realtors. It's just a new perspective. It's not to sound cheesy, but it's like a new vibe inside. It's really cool. It's great to be a part of.
Right. I think it's always exciting when you are coming into something that feels like it's growing or reforming or building and quite frankly, I think we can even feel it from the outside that you can it's the synergy that's starting to happen, I believe.
Yeah, no, and it's, Angela, you touched upon this, like, you and I have been around for a while. I was with the New Jersey Realtors for 26 years. I started as their government affairs director, worked my way up to CEO in 2008. And I've sat in the audience at RLM or NXT, and back in the days we called mid-year at the November meetings. Yeah. But, and I sat there and I remember sitting in those seats saying like, gosh, there's so much more that I'm hoping to hear or I want to be a part of. And I feel like now, like coming out of RLM this past May, I felt like there's a different message coming out, a different vibe coming out. Like people are more engaged and the conversations felt more real to me. And I did forget to mention our our new chief counsel, John Wachlowski, amazing individual. Really, his legal mind is second to none, and we are so fortunate to have him in that post.
I imagine as we talk, you're going to keep thinking of more people that are been either moved around.
I think I got all the SVPs. I think I got them all.
With that dynamic team, there's got to be some challenges that NAR is going to be facing. So as you kind of look at the landscape, what are some of the things that you see on the horizon that you think NAR is going to be facing as far as challenges go?
Well, I think John's team, Wachlowski, who I mentioned just earlier, I think that they are hyper-focused on the lawsuits. I mean, we still have a lot of pending lawsuits that are out there and challenges in that field.
And I want to say this before you keep going is I think people forget we've always had lawsuits.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we get so focused on what's happening right now that we forget they've always fought lawsuits.
And the reason why we probably didn't know about them as much is because of social media.
Right.
Now that with social media, everything's happening at a rapid pace, so people are seeing and hearing things a lot more frequently and more often.
And from so many different people with so many different opinions.
Right. Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Ange. But back to your question, I think, as we're working through that process, I think that, and let's change gears to like Shannon McGann and what she's been doing in Washington, D.C., defending the 1031 exchanges and SALT deductions. I mean, her team has been at it since the minute they saw that the elections were over. They started plugging our initiatives with the new Congress, with the new administration, and we're starting to see the fruits of their labor now.
Right.
And they've gotten many great victories, from the advocacy team. But from challenges, we have so many things happening at once, and it's hard for me to say that there's one specific challenge that we're going to be facing. Because I say this to my wife at night. I feel like, we're on sound footing every night when I go to bed, and then something else pops up. And that's just the world we live in.
Right.
It's the industry that we're a part of. And we're subject to change. And there's so much change that's out there. And that's what makes real estate so unique. And, and it's a challenge for our members, right? And our members are constantly learning. And as an organization, we have to constantly learn and we have to adapt.
Right.
And I think that's what we're trying to be, is more adaptive to what's going on in the field.
Especially when we are in an industry that impacts so much of the economy.
Yes.
We had to expect that we would be more absorbed into everything that's changing and everything that's impacting us. We had to be touched by a little bit of everything, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But and just lastly is the communications part. I think that a challenge is making sure that our members are staying plugged in.
Yes.
And I think that's the hardest thing from a national level, from a state level, and from our local associations, because we were trying to pump out so much information to them that sometimes it becomes overwhelming for the members. And trying to find unique ways so that we're touching the members and they're getting the information that they want and the ways they want it, and so that they feel plugged into the organization on all three levels.
And knowing that's the reliable source. I know one of the things that we all face is that our brokers they're inundated. They are receiving so much information from everywhere. So just knowing that they can count on the information that they get from national and from state and their local association. And hopefully not that we're saturating them.
Right. Well, Angela, I think the real challenge, and I'm going to put this out there for you, and I think for anybody listening to this, is going to be, how can we streamline that information, right? How could we as a national association work with you on a state level and then the local associations and get us all on one platform or one wavelength so that we're all pumping out the same information and it's like a one-stop shop?
Oh, I agree. I think that's a great idea.
Really cool.
Yeah, that would be. Let's work on that.
All right, you got it.
All right. So if you could think of one thing that you would like members to really just grab onto and know about NAR or the role of NAR, what would that be? I
think that the one thing that I really want the members who are listening here today to know is that NAR is strong, and that, we're well over a 100-year organization, and that we're going to be here for another 100 years or beyond. I could tell you because we're adapting, and I keep saying that word because that's Nikia's word. Nikia has a vision for us, and her vision is to make sure that we're more business oriented, we're more in tune to the members' needs, and we're responsive in a more nimble way as an organization. And once we hit that point, I'm telling you that the members are really going to see that value. I love that. I was having a conversation with Lawrence Yoon earlier today, and exactly what we were talking about is the fact that staff members like Lawrence, staff members like you, that are so approachable and members can actually go up to and talk with them. I mean, you see Lawrence on TV, right? Yeah. I mean, he's like a rock star. All of our members love him. Yes. But he is so approachable. Any member who comes up to him, he can be right in the middle of a conversation and they'll want to have a picture made with him. And he'll just stop and talk to them. And I think that is so important. And it just shows the member-focused organization that we are. And I agree with you. NAR is not going anywhere. It is so important. No, I think that, we've had the issues in the past, but that's our past. And we have to put all the issues in the rearview mirror, but learn from it. Exactly. Right? And that's you have to make sure that you learn from history, right? And we've learned from what has gone on, and now we're moving forward. And focus on what it is that NAR gives, like that research from Lawrence, like the advocacy that Shannon and her team is doing, because our members don't have time to go and keep that legislation from happening that's going to hurt their business. They can't be there every day to fight that. Somebody's got to be there for them. Absolutely. And for homeowners. Right. I mean, we're talking about our members, but a lot of the stuff that we do is to protect that homeownership. So much. Yeah. And if we weren't there, if we weren't the boots on the ground fighting those fights, think about what would be happening to homeownership across this country. Right. Yeah. Right. I agree. So on that note, how does NAR position itself to lead through the change of the industry? I think it's listening first and foremost. I think it's listening to the members, listening to our association executives, making sure that we're getting the feedback from what's going on so that we can then provide the level of services that they need. And I think that's kind of what my role, well, that's not kind of, it is what my role is. I'm out here listening to what you need, Angela, and the members need across the country, and trying to make sure that I'm carrying that message back to the National Association so that we know what we need to provide to them. So I think that's the main point right there, is just connecting with the members.
I was so glad to see that you brought on Michelle Holden to help you, because I was worried about how on earth were you going to do this all by yourself? You were on the road so much.
Yeah, it's funny when I took the position. So the quick story is Nakia calls me up in December of 2024 and says, "Hey, Jarrod, I want a little time with you. I want to explain to you about my vision for the organization, and I've created this role." And she starts talking about the industry relations position. And I said, "Wow, that sounds fantastic. I hope you find the right person." And she said, "Oh, I did. It's you." Oh. And I said to her, I'm like, "I'm okay in New Jersey." And she said, "Hear me out." And we had this conversation. And then after that, talking to my family and going through the process of, making sure that this is the right thing for me and my family, because I have young kids and I'm going to be on the road a lot. But knowing my wife was okay, she was supportive of the position. I then started thinking about, who do I want to be part of this process with me? And I was looking around. I knew that from my perspective, I'm a state AE, and people recognize me as a former state AE. I wanted to make sure that I had a local association executive who's well respected in the industry that would join my team. And luckily for me, I found Michelle, and she's a great part of the team. And I don't want to leave out another important person from my team is Nakia Pipian. Nakia Pipian is part of our broker relations team. Right. So she's helping with the small, medium brokers, making sure we connect with them. But of course, we have Sherry Chris.
I was going to say, please explain her role.
Sherry Chris is our consultant. So she's not an employee, but she works with me and Nakia to help us open doors with the large brokers. And Sherry is one of the best in the business, one of the brightest in the business. And we're so fortunate to have her as part of our team. And she's been great as a resource to us in helping us formulate our positions and reconnect with a lot of the larger brokers out there.
Yeah, I think it was a great time when NAR could really bring in-house the caliber of minds that you all bring to the table to be able to really understand the industry in a holistic way, right? I mean, because of all of those individuals, including yourself, that can actually say, this is what's happening in the industry. I just applaud Nakia for being able to do that and to see that was needed.
But she also knows her blind spots, right? So Nakia, knew what blind spots she had, and she knew how to shed light on those blind spots and getting the right people in there to help shed the light. And I think that goes back to something we talked about, Angela. It's about the moving parts of the industry, right? There's so many moving parts, whether it's multiple listing services, the ISCs, right? The local and state associations, but then the brokers and then the agents. There's so many components to what we service and who we service as a national association. So I think that what we're doing is we're making sure that we are connecting with all those components.
Right. I think that's fantastic. So with all of those people in mind, what are some of the tools and resources that you think the members as a whole are underutilizing that they should be taking a look at and maybe revisiting?
Well, I think that from an underutilization standpoint, let's just talk about RPR.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right.
That is a great product.
Realtor Property Resource. Now, Jeff Young and his team are fantastic. They've created this system that is pulling in data points that are so valuable. And guess what? There's only one person that can get a hold of that information, and that's realtors. So as a member of the National Association of Realtors, which ties you to the state association and to the local association, they have access to the Realtor Property Resource.
Right.
And RPR is one of the biggest database systems in the world.
Right.
And we are so fortunate that previous boards of directors of the National Association put monies into this data system, to build the system so that it's a true resource to the realtor organization. So I think that, to me, is a underutilized resource by some. I know our commercial brokers rely on it heavily, but our residential agents and brokers need to really take a hard look. If you're not looking at that RPR, you should take advantage
And there's
of it.
classes that you can take to learn how to use it better. So that's, I'm with you. I think everybody should learn how to use that. There's so many tools in there.
And for you also, and for our local AEs, I mean, for connecting with your members of Congress, with connecting with your local legislators, you can give them data points that they would not have access to that talks about their district, you know? And I could tell you that when I was a state AE, I would always make sure that I pulled certain data points and sent it to my governor.
Yes.
And my governor and I would have real conversations, whether it's via text message or conversations about what's going on in the market and what certain things mean to him and to us as an industry. So it opens up that conversation. So
it's huge, huge. So also, tell me, how does NAR ensure its programs remain relevant to the agents in the market? And from metro to rural, there's so many different areas that you're serving. So how are you focusing on making sure that everybody in all the different areas are being able to take advantage of it?
It's hard to be all things to all people, but I think what we're trying to do is keep that open mind and open ear so that we're hearing what people see in value with what we're providing, but also making sure that we change if it's not valuable, right? And I think that NAR, as an organization, like I said, has been around a long time. But I think now with the way technology works is that we really truly need to be listening and making sure that we're adapting quickly, right? Because technology will beat us to that if we don't.
Yes,
right?
especially with AI in the marketplace today.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking out even just at the next 12 to 18 months, I know there's a lot going on. I know there's a lot NAR is considering right now. What do you kind of see as things that you're paying close attention to?
Well, I think first and foremost is members' dues. Okay, I think it's imperative as an organization. And Nakia, right, gave us a directive. And the directive is that we want to make sure that we have a balanced budget, and we didn't want to have a dues increase. And that was something that we carried in as our senior vice presidents. We sat down and we went through our budget line items and made sure that we're still providing high levels of service and making sure that we are true to our word that there was not going to be a dues increase for 2026. And that's what we brought forth to the board of directors at the RLM meetings in May. And that is what's being carried forward. So I think what I am proud of is that we are going into a year of 2026 with no dues increase.
And I can say, I see a lot of efficiency from where things have been. Some may say cut out, some may say you just went through and you cleaned the budget up, however you want to put it. But there's a lot of efficiency that took place. Some things did get cut out, but I think that there was some fluff that got cut out and some things that looked like you really did some study on with 1.5 million members, how many people were actually taking advantage of certain things. And you really did have to make some hard decisions, and you should. It's a business.
But Angela, I think you just touched upon it. We have to be a data-driven organization, and we have to look at what's going on. And that is Nakia Wright. She is a data-driven individual looking at the X's and O's, making sure that we are ahead of the game and making sure that we are looking at what programs are working and what programs are not working. And can we make those programs that aren't working better? And if not, we just got to cut them.
Right. Well, and to your point earlier, that's how you run a business.
Yes.
So yes, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. If you could give one piece of advice to realtors looking to future-proof their business or their membership or their careers, what would that be?
I think my biggest piece of advice is take advantage of your membership. There's so many resources available to you that will help you in your business. The networking abilities too. I mean, just the networking alone and the value that comes along with that, because that helps you get to your next deal.
Yeah.
That's how you get that referral. That's it. You build up those relationships so that it gets you out there and it gets your name out there and your area out there that you're covering as a realtor, and you're going to make more money, plain and simple. So I think my biggest advice out there looking to the future is get engaged. Get engaged on your local level, get engaged on the state level, and hopefully on the national level, because we need to hear voices and we want to make sure that you're plugged in to what's going on from the industry standpoint.
We hear so often that, oh, I don't have time, or so-and-so told me, don't focus on that right now. And I agree with you, because I hear from so many who say, I volunteered to serve on this. I met people from across the state. I met people from across the country, and that added to my business. So I 100% agree, because of those referral networks that you build, 100%.
Angela, look at our leadership, right? From my leadership when I was a state executive and you're a state executive now. I mean, how many times have your leaders come back to you and said, oh my gosh, I got a phone call from so-and-so in Florida who's looking for somebody to relocate to Tennessee, right? And it is because they had that network, because they had that connectivity to the organization. So it happens.
And we had so many presentations during TNsights of all the people that are relocating to Tennessee that you need the referral network just because of that.
Listen, I'm sure a lot of people from my home state, New Jersey, are moving south. I know it's happening.
There are a lot. What would you say to a realtor who's feeling a little disconnected or unsure about the value of the NAR membership right now?
Take the time to educate yourself. I think that's my biggest advice. Connect with your local association, your state association, and obviously take advantage of the resources that we have available to you on the national level. But I think it's really take that time to really look at what you gain by your membership, right? And what what benefits are out there for you, so that you can feel like you're getting true value from the organization at all three levels.
Rule First not only lends rule, but lives rule too. And as a cooperative, they can offer products and services other lenders aren't able to. From construction to land loans to financing homes in the country, they'll walk you through the process to make your rural dreams a reality. And because community matters, they're committed to investing in the communities they're a part of. Learn how you can get closer to what matters at rulefirst.com. Rule First is a registered trademark of Farm Credit Mid-America, NMLS 407249. Equal housing lender, loans subject to approval and eligibility.
So I'm going to add to that. So when it comes to social media, think about everything you're reading on social media. Typically speaking, when you're getting your messages about what's going on with NAR, if you're upset with NAR, you're going to go to social media and you're going to put all the reasons why you dislike NAR. But if you're happy with NAR, which the majority of people, I'm going to argue, are happy with their membership, they're not going to go onto social media and put all the great reasons that they belong to the National Association of Realtors. It's the disgruntled people, and that's usually the loudest voices that like to put all the negative stuff. I just caution people to say, don't use social media as your resource of doing your research to say, should I or should I not belong? It's the loudest people who go to social media, and that's the case. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Fruit Loops cereal and whether you like your Fruit Loops or not. The people who hate it are going to be the ones that are the loudest on social media, not the people who love it.
And I think, Angela, that's a great point. I think that with the advent of social media and the use of social media, I think what you hear is you hear a lot of the naysayers before you hear anything else.
Right.
Because if the positive people or the people who believe in whatever it is, they don't engage at that level. They don't feel the need to engage at that level.
They don't have time for the negativity.
Right, exactly. I mean, I look at my hometown. I mean, so you go on your hometown Facebook page, and it's never the positive person who's posting, oh my gosh, thank you. Maybe sometimes for the police department or fire department, but for the most part, it's the people who are saying my garbage didn't get picked up. You know, why isn't the council doing this? You know, so yeah, it's the same type of thing, same type of mentality that it's more the negative that's out there sometimes when it's on the social media channels. Right. And also, it's a lot of the clickbait, because people are just trying to get you click through to their websites or whatever so that they could get credit,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that your advice is to actually research what you get. I would argue, take the amount of money that you're paying for your dues, no matter which level it is, calculate how much you would have to pay if you were getting all of the services on your own, and think about if it's worth the benefit that you're getting. Because in most cases, you would never be able to get the benefit of what you're actually getting for the amount that you're paying for those dues.
Well, let's just give real numbers. $156 is the National Association of Realtors dues, plus a $45 surcharge for the advertising campaign. So that's it. So, I mean, if you want to talk real numbers, it's $156 for the dues.
Right. And you get all that research, you get all of that legislative actions.
Team, you get Lawrence's team, you get RPR,
right.
You get everything.
RPR alone.
Yeah.
Like, you would not be able to buy that platform for that. And I can add into that because the state is $105, plus we have the $15 for Issues Mo. And then we have our forms library, we have our legal hotline, we have professional standards, we have classes. I mean, I could go on and on. So it's the same value. And I know the locals can plug theirs in and do the same thing.
100%. So, yeah. The value is there. It's just take advantage from the member's perspective. Take advantage of everything that's being offered to you for that fee.
And then if you throw in the discounts that we secure with some of the other products, you could get your money back on a lot of those discounts.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's there. Just take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so to wrap up, let's go this direction. So again, we've both been in the industry for a while. So what is probably one of your favorite memories, benefits, the best part about being in the RealTor organization in your mind?
I honestly have to say, and I don't want to make it sound cliche, but it's the friendships that you build and the camaraderie that you have, because really we're all working for the greater good, and I used to say this when I first started with the New Jersey Realtors, I had a 5-year plan, right? So I left the New Jersey legislature. I was going to go become the lobbyist for the Realtors, and I was going to go to a lobbying firm and just go make tons and tons of money in my mind, right? And I took a step back, and once I got into the organization and learning about the organization and seeing the value of what we do on a day-to-day basis, I think that's my biggest takeaway is like, it's so amazing about what we're doing to help home ownership, right? And for that American dream, to build familiar wealth, right? And so the families could, and generational wealth, so that people could grow, and it's just an amazing organization. So I think that's the one thing I'm most proud of. My 26-year career and now my few months at NAR is just the organization itself and the greater good that it provides to families.
Right, I would agree 100%. 100%. So I think what I would add to everything you said, is that it's meaningful work, but it's the connections, just like you said, but you feel like there's this bigger purpose. I always say to anybody who comes on my team is that you never know what you're going to do. Like when you come into work, you might have a whole plan, and then you never know what you're going to do because every day is different. You never do the same thing, it doesn't feel like. But you have this whole network of people that it's not just acquaintances. It really is. When we say the Realtor family, it really is the Realtor family. Oh, like you really get to know these people, and you support everybody that you work for. And it's really cool to see competitors that care for one another, that will truly give you their game plan to make you better, because by making you better, you make the industry better and you make everybody better. And you just don't see a lot of industry that do that.
No, it's a tremendous support system, and they're all lifting each other up, our members, and it's just an amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we could just keep talking about that aspect of it alone. I mean, you talk about the Realtor Relief Fund, you talk about all these great people that try to educate people to just, like you said, make everybody better. It's really a neat industry.
No, it really is, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Me too.
I know you are too.
Yeah, me too. But, well, I appreciate you coming and being a part of our TNsights and doing this podcast with us.
No, it's an honor to be here, and thank you. And I'll say this to the members: if you hear something or you need something, please don't hesitate to contact me at the National Association of Realtors. I want to be boots on the ground with you and listening to you. So please, I want your voices to be heard.
And we know that. So thank you. And hope to have you join us again sometime.
It'd be my honor.
All right.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all for joining us today on the RealTea podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and colleagues. Then visit tnrealtors.com to submit your questions and topics for future episodes of the RealTea podcast. Thanks for listening.